Try to be happy in every situation. Chapter 1, Introduction to Zara. Zara was a 25-year-old woman living in a small town surrounded by mountains. Every morning, she woke up to the sound of chirping birds and the warm sunlight streaming through her bedroom window. Life wasn't always easy for her, but she had a habit that made her special. She tried to be happy in every situation. Zara lived in a simple house with her parents and younger brother, Ian. Her father worked as a teacher, and her mother was a homemaker. They didn't have much money, but they had something more important: love and understanding. Zara's family always supported each other, no matter what. One day, while sitting in her room, Zara picked up her diary. She had a habit of writing down her thoughts every evening. On this particular day, she wrote, "Life is not perfect, but it is beautiful. I have a loving family, good health, and the strength to face challenges. Today, I will focus on the things that make me smile." Zara's positivity wasn't something she was born with. It was a choice she made every single day. As a child, she often saw her parents struggle to make ends meet. Yet, they never complained. Instead, they taught her that happiness comes from appreciating what you have. Zara's daily routine. Zara's day usually began with a short walk in the garden. She loved the fresh air and the beauty of nature. As she walked, she would say to herself, "Today is a new day. I will make the best of it." After her walk, Zara helped her mother prepare breakfast. While chopping vegetables or making tea, she would hum her favorite songs. Her mother often said, "Zara, you have a gift. Your smile makes everything better." After breakfast, Zara worked at a small clothing store in the town market. Her job wasn't glamorous, but she enjoyed meeting people. Every customer she served left with a smile, thanks to her kind words and cheerful attitude. A quiet moment of reflection. In the evenings, Zara would sit by the window with a cup of tea. This was her favorite time of day. She enjoyed watching the sunset and thinking about her dreams. Zara wanted to do something meaningful in life. She didn't know what it was yet, but she believed that one day she would find her purpose. One evening, as she sipped her tea, her younger brother Ian joined her. Ian was only 15 but was very mature for his age. He looked at Zara and asked, "Didi, sister, how do you stay so happy all the time?" Zara smiled and replied, "Happiness is a choice, Ian. Life will always have problems, but we can choose how to respond to them. I choose to focus on the good things." Ian nodded thoughtfully. He admired his sister's wisdom and tried to follow her example. A small test. One day, Zara's positive attitude was tested. As she was working at the store, her manager informed her that the shop would be closing soon due to financial losses. This meant Zara would lose her job. At first, Zara felt sad and worried. How would she support her family? But then she remembered her own advice: focus on the good things. She took a deep breath and told herself, "Losing this job is not the end. It's a chance to find something new." When she returned home, she shared the news with her family. Instead of panicking, her father said, "Zara, you are smart and hardworking. I believe you will find another way to succeed." Her mother added, "Remember, when one door closes, another opens." Zara felt comforted by their words. That night, she prayed for strength and guidance. She didn't know what the future held, but she was determined to face it with a smile. The lesson of the day. Zara learned an important lesson that day: it's okay to feel sad, but don't let sadness control you. Instead, focus on what you can do to make things better. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I lost my job, but I gained something more valuable: hope. I believe that better days are ahead. Tomorrow, I will start looking for new opportunities." Chapter 2, Zara's family support. The morning after Zara lost her job, she woke up with mixed feelings. On one hand, she was worried about her future. On the other, she felt grateful for her family's encouragement. As she sat at the breakfast table, her father placed a hand on her shoulder. "Zara, he said, every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. You have always been strong, and I know you'll find your way. Her mother nodded in agreement. Your positivity inspires us all, she said. Why don't we sit together and brainstorm new ideas for your career? Zara smiled, feeling a wave of hope. Thank you, Ami and Abba. I'll start looking for jobs today. Ayan's idea. After breakfast, Zara sat down with her laptop. She began searching for job openings in her area, but nothing seemed right. Most positions required experience or qualifications she didn't have. Ayan, who had been watching her, suddenly spoke up. Didi, why don't you start your own business? Zara looked at him, surprised. Start a business? But what kind of business? Ayan grinned. You're an amazing baker. Everyone loves your cookies and cakes. You could start selling them. Zara's eyes lit up. Baking had always been her passion, but she had never considered turning it into a career. That's a great idea, Ayan, she said. But starting a business is not easy. I'll need money for ingredients and equipment. Her father overheard their conversation and said, Zara, you can use some of my savings to get started. It's a small amount, but I believe in you. Zara felt tears in her eyes. Thank you, Abba. I promise I won't let you down. The first step. The next day, Zara visited the local market to buy ingredients. She purchased flour, sugar, butter, and chocolate chips. With her mother's help, she set up a small baking station in their kitchen. Her first project was to bake a batch of chocolate chip cookies. As the aroma of freshly baked cookies filled the house, Ayan came running into the kitchen. These smell amazing, Didi, he said, grabbing a cookie. Zara laughed. Wait! I need to take pictures first. I'll post them on social media to attract customers. She took a few photos of the cookies and uploaded them to her Instagram and Facebook accounts with the caption. Homemade chocolate chip cookies, baked with love. DM for orders. The first order. To Zara's surprise, she received her first order within an hour. It was from her neighbor, Mrs. Khan, who wanted a dozen cookies for her son's birthday party. Zara was thrilled. She baked the cookies with extra care and delivered them to Mrs. Khan's house. These look wonderful, Zara, Mrs. Khan said. I'll tell my friends about your business. That evening, Zara made a profit of 500 rupees. It wasn't much, but it was a start. She wrote in her diary. Today, I took the first step toward my dream. It's a small beginning, but I'm proud of myself. With hard work and patience, I believe this business will grow. Spreading the word. Over the next few weeks, Zara continued to bake cookies and cakes. She posted pictures of her creations online and relied on word of mouth to attract more customers. Slowly but surely, her business began to grow. Her family supported her every step of the way. Ayan helped with packaging the orders, while her mother took care of the accounts. Even her father, who was usually busy with his teaching job, found time to help deliver orders. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, Zara said, I couldn't have done this without you all. Thank you for believing in me. Her father smiled. We are proud of you, Zara. You turned a difficult situation into an opportunity. The lesson of the day. Through this experience, Zara learned the importance of family support and the power of determination. She realized that challenges could lead to new and unexpected opportunities if approached with the right mindset. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary. Today, I learned that success is not just about talent, it's about the support of those who love you. I'm grateful for my family and excited for the future. Chapter 3, The First Challenge. As Zara's baking business began to grow, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Orders were coming in steadily, and customers praised her for the taste and quality of her products. However, with success came challenges that Zara had never anticipated. One morning, while preparing a large batch of cookies for a wedding order, Zara realized she was running low on butter. She had miscalculated her inventory. Panic set in as she checked the time. The delivery was due in 3 hours. What do I do now? Zara thought to herself. Ayan noticed her frustration and asked, "What's wrong, Dee Dee?" "I don't have enough butter, Ayan. The market won't open for another hour, and I'll lose valuable time." Ayan thought for a moment and said, "Why don't you borrow some from our neighbor, Mrs. Khan? She's always kind and willing to help." Zara hesitated. She didn't like asking for favors, but she knew she had no choice. Taking Ayan's advice, she hurried to Mrs. Khan's house and explained the situation. Mrs. Khan smiled warmly and said, "Of course, Zara. Take whatever you need. I'm happy to help someone so hardworking." Zara returned home with the butter and managed to finish the order just in time. Handling customer expectations. Delivering the wedding cookies was another test of Zara's patience. When she arrived at the client's house, the bride's mother inspected the cookies carefully. "They look good," she said, "but I expected more decorations on the packaging." Zara felt her heart sink. She had worked hard on the cookies but hadn't focused much on the presentation. "I'm sorry for the oversight," she said politely. "Let me know how I can improve next time." The woman softened at Zara's humility. "It's all right," she said. "The cookies smell amazing. I'm sure they'll taste just as good." When Zara got home, she reflected on the experience. She realized that running a business wasn't just about making a good product, it was also about meeting customer expectations, learning from mistakes. Determined to improve, Zara spent the next few days researching how to enhance her packaging. She watched online tutorials and even sought advice from a local shopkeeper who sold decorative items. Soon, her cookies were not only delicious but also beautifully presented. Customers noticed the change and began recommending her to their friends. Her father, noticing her efforts, said, "Zara, your ability to learn from mistakes will take you far in life. I'm proud of you." Balancing work and life. As Zara's business grew, she found herself busier than ever. She spent most of her day baking, packaging, and delivering orders. While she enjoyed the work, she began to miss spending time with her family. One evening, her mother sat her down and said, "Zara, I admire your dedication, but don't forget to take care of yourself. Success is meaningless if you don't have time for the people you love." Her mother's words stayed with her. Zara realized she needed to find a balance between work and life. She decided to set specific working hours and hired a neighbor to help with deliveries. This allowed her to spend her evenings with her family, playing board games and sharing stories. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara 3 important lessons: the value of community support, the importance of humility, and the need to balance work and personal life. She realized that challenges were not obstacles but opportunities to grow and improve. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary, "Today, I faced several challenges, but I overcame them with the help of others. I learned that success is not just about hard work, it's also about learning, adapting, and staying connected with the people who matter." Chapter 4: The Unexpected Opportunity. Zara's baking business was steadily growing. With improved packaging and better time management, her customer base expanded beyond her neighborhood. She started receiving calls from people she didn't even know, asking about her cakes and cookies. One day, Zara received an unusual message on her Instagram account. A well-known cafe owner, Mr. Farhan, had come across her profile and wanted to meet her. The meeting. Excited and nervous, Zara prepared for the meeting. She brought along a box of her best cookies as a sample. At the cafe, Mr. Farhan greeted her warmly. "Zara, your baking skills have caught my attention," he said, tasting one of her cookies. "This is delicious. I'm looking for a local supplier for homemade desserts. Would you be interested in partnering with my cafe?" Zara could hardly believe her ears. Partnering with a popular cafe would mean more exposure and a steady stream of income. However, she hesitated. "Mr. Farhan, I'm honored, but I'm running this business from my home. I'm not sure I can handle such a large-scale order." Mr. Farhan smiled. "Start small. Zara. Let's begin with just one dessert on the menu, your cookies. If it works out, we can expand from there. After some thought, Zara agreed. The new challenge. Returning home, Zara shared the news with her family. They were thrilled but also concerned about how she would manage the increased workload. Zara, you'll need a proper system, her father advised. Why don't you hire someone to help you with baking? I'm worried about the cost, Zara replied. But you're right, Abba. If I want to grow, I can't do everything alone. The next day, Zara put up a notice in the local community center, looking for an assistant baker. Within a week, she hired a young woman named Sana, who had experience in baking and was eager to learn more. Preparing for the launch. Zara and Sana worked tirelessly to perfect the cookies for the cafe. They experimented with different recipes and added new flavors, such as double chocolate and almond crunch. They also ensured that every batch met the high standards expected by Mr. Farhan. Finally, the launch day arrived. Mr. Farhan had added a sign to his cafe menu. Introducing Zara's homemade cookies, available now. Zara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as she watched customers try her cookies for the first time. To her relief, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. These cookies are amazing, one customer said. I'll definitely be back for more. Zara couldn't stop smiling. Her hard work was paying off. Overcoming doubts. Despite her success, Zara still faced moments of self-doubt. Was she capable of handling more responsibilities? Could she maintain the quality of her products as her business grew? One evening, her mother found her sitting alone, looking worried. What's wrong, Beta? She asked. I'm scared, Ami, Zara admitted. What if I fail? Her mother placed a comforting hand on hers. Zara, failure is just a stepping stone to success. You've come so far because of your determination. Believe in yourself, and Allah will guide you. Her mother's words filled Zara with renewed confidence. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara the importance of taking risks, seeking help, and believing in her abilities. She realized that growth often required stepping out of her comfort zone. That night, she wrote in her diary. Today, I learned that every new opportunity comes with challenges, but facing them with courage and faith can lead to success. I'm grateful for the support of my family and the chance to grow my business. Chapter 5: The Pressure of Success. Zara's partnership with the cafe brought her more business than she had ever imagined. Orders poured in daily, not just from the cafe but also from new customers who had heard about her cookies. Though she was thrilled, the growing demand started to take a toll on her. The overwhelming workload. Zara found herself waking up early and staying up late to complete orders. Even with Sana's help, the workload was immense. There were times when batches of cookies didn't turn out well, and she had to start over. One day, Zara forgot to deliver an order on time, leading to an angry customer. You need to be more organized, the customer said sternly. If you can't handle the work, don't take orders. The harsh words stung Zara, but she knew the customer was right. She realized she needed a better system to manage her time and resources. Seeking advice. That evening, Zara spoke to her father about her struggles. Abba, I feel like I'm losing control. There's too much to do, and I don't know how to manage it all. Her father listened carefully and then said, Zara, every business faces challenges as it grows. The key is to adapt. Why don't you create a schedule and divide the tasks between yourself and Sana? Also, consider investing in better equipment to save time. Zara took his advice to heart. She spent the weekend creating a detailed schedule and assigning specific tasks to herself and Sana. She also used some of her earnings to buy a new oven and other tools to improve efficiency. Delegating tasks. With the new system in place, Zara began to feel more in control. She focused on baking and experimenting with new recipes, while Sana handled packaging and customer communication. This division of labor not only reduced Zara's stress, but also improved the quality of their work. Sana proved to be a reliable assistant. She suggested adding a feedback system to understand what customers liked and what could be improved. Zara agreed, and they started including a small feedback card with every order. Facing criticism. The feedback cards were a mixed blessing. While many customers praised Zara's cookies, some criticized the pricing or packaging. One customer wrote, "The cookies are tasty, but they're too expensive for the quantity." Zara felt disheartened. She had worked so hard, yet some people were still dissatisfied. However, Sana encouraged her. "Criticism is an opportunity to improve," she said. "Let's see if we can offer smaller, more affordable packs for those who find it expensive." Zara agreed, and they introduced a mini-pack option. It became an instant hit, proving that listening to feedback could lead to better results. Taking a break. Despite the improvements, Zara still felt exhausted. One evening, her mother noticed how tired she looked and said, "Zara, you need to take a break. Your health is just as important as your business." Zara resisted at first. "Ami, if I stop, I'll fall behind." Her mother shook her head. "You won't fall behind if you take care of yourself. Rest will help you work better." Finally, Zara agreed to take a day off. She spent it relaxing with her family, playing games with Ian, and enjoying her mother's home-cooked meals. The break refreshed her, and she returned to work with renewed energy. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara that success comes with responsibility and that managing time, delegating tasks, and taking care of oneself are essential for long-term growth. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that I can't do everything alone. Delegating tasks and listening to feedback are crucial for improvement. Most importantly, I need to take care of myself to keep going." Chapter 6: The Unexpected Setback. Zara's business was thriving, and she felt more confident with each passing day. However, as life often goes, challenges appeared when she least expected them. One day, a mistake threatened to undo all her hard work. The day it went wrong. Zara had just completed a large order of cakes and cookies for a corporate event. The client had requested a specific delivery time, and Zara made sure to double-check everything before the delivery. But when Sana returned from delivering the order, she looked worried. "Zara, there's a problem," she said. "What happened?" Zara asked, her heart sinking. "The client called," Sana explained. "They said the cookies were the wrong flavor. They asked for chocolate chip, but they received oatmeal raisin." Zara's face turned pale. She remembered baking chocolate chip cookies but realized she had accidentally packed the wrong batch. "Oh no," she whispered. "What do we do now?" Dealing with the situation. Zara immediately called the client to apologize. "I'm so sorry for the mix-up," she said sincerely. "I'll redo the order and have it delivered to you as soon as possible." The client wasn't pleased but agreed to give Zara another chance. Zara and Sana worked late into the night to remake the cookies, ensuring they were perfect this time. Sana delivered them early the next morning, and the client finally seemed satisfied. Learning from mistakes. The incident left Zara feeling defeated. "How could I let this happen?" she said to Sana. Sana tried to comfort her. "Mistakes happen, Zara. What matters is how you handle them, and you did your best to make it right." Her father added, "Zara, this is a valuable lesson. Success isn't about never making mistakes, it's about learning from them. Now you know the importance of double-checking orders before delivery." Determined to prevent such errors in the future, Zara implemented a new system. She created a checklist for every order, detailing the items, quantities, and delivery instructions. Before any order left the kitchen, she and Sana went through the checklist together. Rebuilding trust. To regain the trust of the client, Zara offered them a discount on their next order. She also included a handwritten note expressing her gratitude for their understanding. The gesture worked. Not only did the client place another order, but they also recommended Zara's business to their colleagues. Strength through adversity. The experience taught Zara that setbacks were a part of any journey. What mattered most was resilience, the ability to bounce back and keep moving forward. She shared her thoughts with Sana. This business is like life. There will always be problems, but we have to face them with courage and learn from them. Sana nodded. And don't forget, Zara, you're not alone. We're a team. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara that mistakes were not the end, but an opportunity to grow stronger. By staying calm, apologizing sincerely, and taking corrective actions, she turned a negative situation into a positive one. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary. Today, I learned that setbacks are inevitable, but they don't define us. What defines us is how we respond. With honesty, effort, and resilience, we can overcome anything. Chapter 7: The Big Event. Zara's business continued to grow steadily, and she was gaining confidence in her abilities. One day, she received an exciting opportunity. A prominent event planner, Mrs. Asmar, contacted her to provide desserts for a high-profile charity gala. This was the biggest order Zara had ever received, and it could take her business to the next level. Preparing for the challenge. The order was enormous: 300 cupcakes, 150 cookies, and 100 mini cakes, all customized to match the gala's elegant theme of gold and white. Zara and Sana were thrilled but also nervous. The deadline was tight, and the stakes were high. We need to plan this carefully, Zara said as they sat down to outline the tasks. They divided the workload. Zara would handle the baking, while Sana focused on decorating and packaging. To ensure everything went smoothly, Zara purchased extra ingredients and borrowed another oven from a neighbor. She also asked her brother Ian to help with deliveries. The long days. For the next week, Zara and Sana worked tirelessly. They spent long hours in the kitchen, often staying up past midnight. The smell of freshly baked goods filled the house, and even Ian joined in to help with simple tasks like sorting cupcake liners and labeling packages. Despite their meticulous planning, they encountered challenges. One night, the frosting for the mini cakes didn't set properly, forcing them to start over. Another time, a batch of cupcakes burned because Zara was distracted. Each time, Zara reminded herself to stay calm. "We'll fix this," she told Sana. "We can't afford to panic." The big day. Finally, the day of the gala arrived. Zara and her team finished the last batch of desserts just hours before the event. They carefully packed everything into boxes and loaded them into the car. As they arrived at the venue, Zara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The hall was beautifully decorated, and the guests were dressed in elegant attire. Zara set up her dessert table, arranging the cupcakes, cookies, and mini cakes in an eye-catching display. Mrs. Asmar inspected the table and smiled. "This looks perfect, Zara. Thank you for your hard work." Hearing those words made Zara's heart swell with pride. The feedback. Throughout the evening, guests visited Zara's dessert table, complimenting her creations. One woman said, "These cupcakes are not only beautiful, but also delicious." "Who made them?" Zara shyly introduced herself. "I run a small home-based bakery," she explained. The woman smiled. "You have a great talent. I'll definitely recommend you to my friends." By the end of the night, Zara had handed out dozens of business cards and received multiple inquiries about future orders. Celebrating the success. Back home, Zara and her family celebrated the success of the event. Her parents were proud, and Ian couldn't stop talking about how popular the desserts were. "You've come a long way, Zara," her mother said. "But remember to stay humble and grateful for every opportunity." "I will, Ami," Zara replied, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara the value of hard work, teamwork, and staying calm under pressure. She realized that challenges could be overcome with proper planning and a positive attitude. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary. "Today, I learned that big opportunities come with big challenges, but with determination and support, anything is possible. I'm grateful for my family, my team, and the trust of my clients." Chapter 8: The Rival Bakery. Zara's success didn't go unnoticed. As her reputation grew, so did the competition. A nearby bakery, known for its fancy cakes and pastries, started to feel threatened by Zara's rising popularity. The bakery owner, Mrs. Rahila, wasn't pleased with the attention Zara's home-based business was receiving. The unexpected encounter. One day, Zara was delivering an order to a regular customer when she ran into Mrs. Rahila. The older woman greeted her with a polite smile but spoke with a hint of condescension. "So, you're the one making all these cookies and cakes from home?" Mrs. Rahila said. "Yes, that's me," Zara replied, smiling. "It's impressive for a home business," Mrs. Rahila continued. "But remember, maintaining quality as you grow isn't easy. Customers expect perfection, and they can be very critical." Zara sensed the hidden challenge in her words but remained calm. "Thank you for the advice. I'll do my best to keep my customers happy." The rumors begin. A week later, Zara started hearing strange comments from her customers. Some mentioned rumors that her desserts were unhygienic because they were made at home. Others asked if she had proper training to bake professionally. At first, Zara was confused, but soon she realized where the rumors were coming from. Mrs. Rahila was spreading false information to undermine her business. Sana was furious. "How can she do this? It's so unfair." Zara took a deep breath. "It's upsetting, but we can't control what others do. We can only focus on our work and prove her wrong with our quality." Proving herself. To address the concerns, Zara decided to be more transparent about her process. She started posting photos and videos on social media, showing her clean kitchen, fresh ingredients, and careful baking methods. Her customers appreciated the effort. "I trust you even more now," one of them commented. "Your cookies are always amazing, and I know you put your heart into them." Zara also began experimenting with new recipes and packaging ideas to stay ahead of the competition. She introduced limited edition flavors and seasonal gift boxes, which quickly became popular. The confrontation. One day, Mrs. Rahila visited Zara's stall at a local market event. She looked at Zara's display of desserts and said, "You've done well for yourself, but remember, this is just a phase. Running a business is about experience, not luck." Zara smiled politely. "Experience is important, but so is passion and honesty. I believe customers can see the difference." Her calm response caught Mrs. Rahila off guard. Zara's confidence and professionalism left no room for further argument. Winning over customers. Over time, the rumors faded, and Zara's business continued to thrive. Customers who had once doubted her now became her biggest supporters. Some even told her how much they admired her for handling the situation with grace. Sana couldn't help but smile. "You've shown everyone that hard work and integrity always win." The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara that competition is a natural part of business, but that the best way to handle it is with dignity and dedication. By staying true to her values, she turned a challenge into an opportunity to grow. Before going to bed, she wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that facing competition isn't about fighting back, it's about proving yourself through your actions. Staying honest and focused will always pay off in the end." Chapter 9: A Heartfelt Loss. Zara's bakery had become a staple in her community. Her cakes, cookies, and pastries were loved by all, and business was booming. Yet, as life often does, it threw a challenge Zara's way that wasn't related to business at all. It was a personal loss. The sudden goodbye. Zara's grandmother, Ami Jan, had always been her greatest supporter. Ami Jan was the one who taught Zara the joy of baking, spending hours together in the kitchen, sharing recipes, and passing down stories of their family's history. Zara felt deeply connected to her through every kneaded dough and stirred batter. One chilly evening, Zara received a call from her mother. "Zara, come quickly. Ami Jan is very unwell." Zara's heart raced. She immediately closed her bakery for the evening and rushed to her grandmother's house. When she arrived, she found her grandmother weak and pale, lying in her bed surrounded by family. The doctors had done everything they could, but Ami Jan's time had come. The final moments. Zara sat by her grandmother's side, holding her hand. Ami Jan looked at her with tired eyes but managed to smile. "My dear Zara, you've grown so much," she whispered. "I'm so proud of you. Keep baking, keep creating, and never forget to enjoy the little moments. Life is too short to focus on anything but what makes your heart happy." Tears streamed down Zara's face as she kissed her grandmother's hand. "I will, Ami January. I promise." Minutes later, Ami Jan passed away quietly in her sleep, leaving Zara heartbroken but grateful for the time they had shared. Grieving and reflecting. The following days were filled with grief. Zara barely had the strength to continue her daily routines. The bakery, once a source of joy, felt empty without the comforting presence of her grandmother's wisdom. Sana, noticing Zara's pain, came over one evening. "I know it's hard, Zara, but Ami Jan's spirit lives on in everything you do. She taught you to bake, but more importantly, she taught you how to live." Zara nodded, wiping away a tear. "She always knew how to make me feel better, even with just a few words." Returning to the bakery. Though her heart was heavy, Zara knew her grandmother would want her to continue. She decided to take a small break but soon returned to the bakery, pouring her feelings into her work. Every batch of cookies, every cake she decorated, felt like a tribute to the woman who had shaped her life. She started baking Ami Jan's special recipes again, ones that her grandmother had taught her long ago. The familiar smells of cardamom and rosewater filled the kitchen, bringing comfort and a sense of peace. One day, as Zara was decorating a cake, she noticed a little note in her grandmother's handwriting that she had found hidden inside one of her recipe books. "Zara, remember, life is sweeter when shared. Don't keep your joy to yourself. Share it with others, and your happiness will multiply." The healing process. Zara began to share her grief with her customers. She set up a small tribute corner in her bakery, displaying photos of her grandmother and some of her favorite recipes. People who came to the bakery left messages of sympathy and support, many sharing their own fond memories of loved ones they had lost. One elderly woman, who had known Zara's grandmother, said, "Ami Jan always made the best sweets. She had a special way of making everything feel warm and comforting." Hearing those words helped Zara heal. She realized that though her grandmother was no longer physically with her, her lessons, love, and spirit would always remain in the bakery, in every cake she baked, and in every smile she shared with her customers. The lesson of the day. This chapter taught Zara the importance of cherishing loved ones and remembering their teachings in times of hardship. It also reminded her that sharing joy with others is one of the best ways to honor the memory of those who have passed. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that grief is part of life, but so is healing. My grandmother's legacy will live on in every cake I bake and every person I meet. I will keep her wisdom in my heart and share her love through my work." Chapter 10, A New Beginning. The loss of Zara's grandmother had shaken her deeply, but with time, she began to find solace in her memories and the wisdom Ami Jan had shared. Zara's bakery, once a symbol of joy and success, had now become a place where she could honor her grandmother's memory by sharing her love for baking with others. The new inspiration. As Zara worked, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Ami Jan's words echoed in her mind, "Life is sweeter when shared." Zara knew that her grandmother would want her to keep moving forward, not just for herself, but for all the people who found comfort in her baked goods. One morning, as Zara prepared for a new batch of cookies, an idea suddenly came to her. She had always focused on individual orders and special events, but now she wanted to do something bigger, something that could help her community. "I'll start a charity project," Zara decided. "I'll bake goods and donate a portion of the profits to a local cause. It'll be my way of spreading joy and honoring Ami January." Zara immediately reached out to a local charity that supported underprivileged children, providing them with education and food. The charity was thrilled with the idea. Zara began baking with even more passion, dedicating a part of every sale to the cause. The launch of the charity initiative. Zara created a special menu for her charity initiative, featuring her grandmother's favorite desserts. The Ami Jan's collection included cardamom cupcakes, rosewater cookies, and pistachio cakes, recipes that had been passed down from generations. The menu was a tribute to Zara's grandmother, and every item sold would contribute to the charity's mission. The launch event for the charity initiative was held in Zara's bakery. She invited her regular customers, friends, and local media to spread the word. Zara decorated the space with photos of her grandmother, candles, and flowers to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. At the event, people were moved by Zara's story. She shared her journey of losing Ami Jan and how her grandmother's lessons had inspired the project. Many customers were eager to contribute, not just by buying the desserts but also by spreading the word about Zara's charity. "I'm so proud of you, Zara," Sana said, smiling as she helped serve the guests. This is what Ami Jan would have wanted, to spread love and kindness. The impact on the community. As the weeks passed, Zara's charity initiative grew. Her bakery became a hub of goodwill, where people not only came to enjoy delicious treats but also knew that their purchases were helping others. The children at the charity received much-needed supplies and educational support, all thanks to Zara's hard work and generosity. The local community rallied around Zara. Neighbors who had never visited her bakery before now became regulars, eager to support her cause. Many came in just to say how much they admired what she was doing, and some even made direct donations to the charity. Zara found herself smiling again as she saw the impact of her work. "I can feel Ami Jan with me, guiding me through every step," she thought as she baked a batch of her grandmother's famous pistachio cakes. A special moment. One afternoon, as Zara was closing the bakery, a young girl named Mariam came in. She was holding a small envelope in her hands. "Is this for Zara?" she asked shyly. Zara took the envelope and opened it to find a handwritten note. "Dear Zara, thank you for your kindness. You've helped me and my friends get the education we need. We will never forget your generosity. God bless you, and may your bakery always be filled with happiness." The note was signed by several of the children from the charity, and as Zara read it, she felt her heart swell with emotion. She hadn't expected such a heartfelt gesture, and it reminded her why she had started the initiative in the first place. "Thank you, Mariam," Zara said, her voice full of gratitude. "This means the world to me." The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that the true reward in life comes not from personal success, but from the joy of giving. She realized that by helping others, she was continuing her grandmother's legacy of love, kindness, and sharing. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that happiness multiplies when shared. Giving to others, no matter how small the gesture, creates a ripple of kindness that lasts longer than any success or achievement." Ami Jan would be proud. Chapter 11, The Joy of Giving. Zara's charity initiative continued to grow, and with every new donation, every smile, and every thank you, her heart swelled with pride. She felt like she was living Ami Jan's dream of spreading love and happiness, not just through her baking but through the kindness she was sharing with the world. But as her success grew, Zara realized there were still many challenges ahead. Facing new challenges. As the bakery gained more attention, Zara's workload increased. She had to manage orders, organize charity events, and maintain the quality of her baked goods, all while trying to balance her personal life. One day, Zara sat down with her friend Sana over a cup of tea. "I don't know how much longer I can keep up with everything," Zara admitted, her shoulders heavy with the burden of responsibility. Sana looked at her thoughtfully. "Zara, I know you're doing a lot, but remember, you don't have to do everything by yourself. You've built a wonderful community, and it's okay to ask for help." Zara smiled, realizing that she had been too focused on perfection and hadn't asked for support. She had always been independent, but this was a reminder that it's okay to lean on others. Asking for help. The next day, Zara made a decision to delegate more. She asked Sana to help with organizing events, and some of her loyal customers offered to volunteer their time. She also hired an assistant, Maria, who had a passion for baking and shared Zara's values. Thank you for trusting me with this, Zara, Maria said as she began her first day. I'm excited to help make your vision a reality. Zara felt a weight lift off her shoulders as she shared the responsibilities. The bakery felt more organized, and with a team around her, she could focus on what she loved most, baking and spreading joy. A special delivery. One morning, Zara received an order from a local hospital. They wanted a batch of her famous cookies to hand out to the children in the pediatric ward. It was a special request, and Zara couldn't refuse. She decided to make the order extra special. She would bake personalized cookies shaped like stars, moons, and hearts with messages of hope and love on each one. When the cookies were ready, Zara personally delivered them to the hospital. The staff greeted her with warm smiles, and the children's faces lit up when they received the cookies. Zara sat with one little girl, who looked up at her with wide eyes. Are these really for me? The girl asked, holding a heart-shaped cookie in her tiny hands. Zara smiled and nodded. Yes, they are. You're very special, and you deserve all the love in the world. The girl's eyes filled with tears of joy. Thank you, she whispered, and Zara could feel her heart swell. As she left the hospital that day, Zara realized that these small acts of kindness were more fulfilling than any profit or recognition. She had made a difference in someone's life, even if just for a moment. The community support. Word of Zara's generosity spread throughout the town, and more people came to her bakery, not just for the delicious treats, but to support the causes she was involved in. People began offering donations, and some even organized their own charity events, all inspired by Zara's commitment to giving back. Zara found herself surrounded by a network of people who cared not just about her business, but about the community she was building. Her bakery had become a place of warmth, not only because of the delicious smells, but because of the love and care Zara put into everything she did. A meaningful connection. One afternoon, an elderly woman walked into the bakery, carrying a basket of fresh flowers. She had a kind smile and a peaceful presence. Are you Zara? The woman asked. Yes, I am. How can I help you? Zara replied, wiping her hands on her apron. I've heard so much about you, the woman said, her voice gentle. I wanted to bring you something. These flowers are from my garden, and I thought they would brighten your day, just as your baking brightens everyone's life. Zara was touched. Thank you so much. These are beautiful. The woman smiled warmly. You're doing important work, dear. Sometimes, it's the little things, like a cookie or a smile, that can change someone's day. Keep doing what you're doing. The world needs more kindness, especially now. Zara took the flowers and placed them in a vase behind the counter. Her heart felt full as she realized that kindness truly was the most powerful ingredient in everything she did. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that giving wasn't just about material donations, it was about sharing love, time, and energy with others. She realized that by helping those around her, she was building a community of support that was stronger than any business success could provide. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary. Today, I learned that the joy of giving is not just in the gifts we give, but in the connections we make. When we share kindness, we create bonds that last far longer than any transaction. I'm grateful for this community and for the love we share. Chapter 12: The Power of Resilience. Zara's life was gradually transforming. Her bakery had grown into more than just a place to sell baked goods, it had become a hub for connection, kindness, and community. Zara felt a deep sense of fulfillment, but there were still many lessons to learn. Her resilience would soon be tested in ways she had never imagined. The unexpected setback. One rainy morning, Zara opened the bakery early to prepare for a special event. She had planned a charity bake sale to raise funds for the children's education program she had been supporting. Everything was in place: cookies, cakes, cupcakes, all ready for the event. But as the morning progressed, something unexpected happened. A sudden storm caused a power outage in the area, and the entire bakery was plunged into darkness. Zara checked the power board, but it was clear the outage wouldn't be resolved anytime soon. Her heart sank. She had spent weeks preparing for this day. The donations, the special orders, the time she had invested, it was all at risk. A moment of despair. Zara sat down on the floor behind the counter, her hands in her lap. She could hear the rain pouring down outside, and a sense of helplessness washed over her. What would she do? How could she go on? For a moment, Zara thought about giving up. She thought about calling everyone and cancelling the event. After all, nothing seemed to be going right. But then she remembered something her grandmother had once told her: in times of hardship, remember that every storm passes, and the sun always shines again. Zara took a deep breath. She couldn't give up. She wouldn't. Finding a solution. Zara decided to go to the nearby community center and borrow their ovens for the day. It was a bit of an inconvenience, but it was her only option. She called Sana, who immediately came over to help, and together they loaded the baked goods into boxes and carried them over to the community center. When they arrived, the manager of the center was happy to let them use the facilities. Zara worked quickly, heating up the cakes and preparing the cookies for the sale. Despite the rain, people began showing up, and the charity event went ahead as planned. It wasn't the perfect situation, but Zara made the best of it. The bake sale raised a good amount of money, and the customers were grateful for the fresh treats. Most importantly, Zara learned a valuable lesson in resilience: no matter the obstacle, you can always find a way through. An unexpected visitor. As the event was winding down, an elderly man entered the community center. He had a quiet, humble presence and walked slowly, leaning on a cane. He approached Zara with a gentle smile. "You must be the one who baked all of these wonderful treats," he said. "I heard about your charity work, and I wanted to personally thank you for what you're doing for the children in this community." Zara smiled, a bit surprised by the compliment. "Thank you. It's my pleasure." The elderly man paused, looking at her intently. "You know, life is a lot like baking," he said thoughtfully. "It's about finding the right ingredients, even when things aren't perfect. And sometimes, when you mix things up, you end up with something better than you expected." Zara looked at him, intrigued. "What do you mean?" "Well, my dear, every baker faces challenges. The oven doesn't always heat evenly, the dough might rise differently, or the weather might not cooperate. But it's how you handle those setbacks that makes all the difference." Zara nodded, grateful for his wisdom. She had learned that lesson already today, and hearing it from someone else only reinforced it. A new perspective. The elderly man's word stayed with Zara. She realized that her journey wasn't just about success and happiness, it was also about handling life's challenges with grace and resilience. She would continue to face obstacles, but with every difficulty, she would grow stronger and wiser. That evening, Zara returned to the bakery, feeling more at peace than she had in a long time. The storm had passed, the event had been a success, and she had learned an important lesson about perseverance. She took a moment to sit down and reflect on how far she had come. Her grandmother's teaching still guided her, and now Zara was beginning to understand the deeper meaning of resilience, the strength to keep going, even when things didn't go as planned. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that setbacks and challenges were an inevitable part of life. What mattered most was how she responded to them. By choosing resilience, creativity, and perseverance, she could navigate through any storm and come out stronger on the other side. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that life is full of unexpected challenges. But I also learned that setbacks are not the end, they're opportunities for growth. Just like in baking, sometimes the best results come from the mistakes and adjustments we make along the way." Chapter 13, The Secret Ingredient. Zara's bakery had become the heart of the community, and her resilience continued to inspire those around her. But as life carried on, Zara began to realize there was still something missing, a deeper understanding of the secret ingredient that made life and her work truly meaningful. A stranger's question. One sunny afternoon, a customer walked into the bakery. He was a middle-aged man with a kind face and a curious air about him. As he approached the counter, Zara greeted him warmly. "Welcome to Sweet Moments. How can I help you today?" she asked. The man smiled. "I've heard so much about your bakery and the love you pour into your work. I wanted to see it for myself." Zara blushed slightly. "That's kind of you to say. What can I get for you?" The man paused for a moment and then asked, "What's the secret ingredient that makes your baking so special?" Zara hesitated, unsure of how to answer. "I guess it's love," she said, smiling. "I bake with love and care, and I think that's what makes a difference." The man nodded thoughtfully. "Love is a good answer. But have you ever wondered where that love comes from? What gives you the strength to share it?" Zara was taken aback. She hadn't thought about it that way before. The man thanked her for the conversation, bought a loaf of bread, and left, leaving Zara deep in thought, searching for the answer. That evening, as Zara cleaned the bakery, the man's question replayed in her mind. What was the source of her love and strength? Was it her grandmother's teachings? Her passion for baking? Or was it something greater? Zara decided to visit the small library near her home. She found a quiet corner and picked up a book about personal growth and happiness. One particular quote stood out to her. "The true source of love is gratitude. When you are grateful, you open your heart to the world, and love flows naturally." Gratitude. The word resonated with Zara. She thought about all the things she was thankful for: her grandmother's wisdom, the support of her friends, the community that believed in her, and even the challenges that had helped her grow. A practice of gratitude. The next morning, Zara decided to start a new habit. Before opening the bakery, she sat down with a notebook and wrote 3 things she was grateful for. 1. The warmth of the morning sun. 2. The laughter of children playing outside. 3. The opportunity to bring joy to others through her baking. As she wrote, Zara felt a wave of calm and happiness wash over her. She realized that gratitude was the secret ingredient she had been searching for, not just in her baking, but in her life. Spreading gratitude. Inspired by her discovery, Zara decided to share the practice of gratitude with her customers. She placed a small chalkboard near the entrance of the bakery with the words, "What are you grateful for today? Write it here and share your joy." Customers began writing on the board, sharing small and big moments of gratitude. "I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the kindness of strangers. I'm grateful for this delicious chocolate cake." The chalkboard became a source of inspiration for everyone who walked into the bakery. People lingered to read the messages and added their own, creating a sense of connection and positivity. A heartfelt letter. One day, Zara received a handwritten letter from a customer. It read, "Dear Zara, I want to thank you for the gratitude board in your bakery. Reading the messages reminded me of all the good things in my life, even during a tough time. It gave me the strength to face my challenges with a positive heart. You've created more than a bakery, you've created a place of hope. With gratitude. A grateful customer." Zara's eyes filled with tears as she read the letter. She realized that her simple act of encouraging gratitude had touched someone's life in a profound way. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that gratitude was the foundation of love and happiness. By focusing on the blessings in her life, she found strength, joy, and a deeper connection with those around her. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that gratitude is the key to a happy and meaningful life. When we take time to appreciate the good things, we open our hearts to love and kindness. I'm grateful for the chance to share this lesson with others." Chapter 14, The Test of Gratitude. Zara's life was filled with positivity since she embraced gratitude as a daily practice. Her bakery was thriving, the gratitude board was a constant source of joy for her customers, and she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. But life was about to challenge Zara's newfound perspective, testing her ability to remain grateful in difficult times. An unfortunate incident. One Friday evening, Zara stayed late at the bakery to prepare for a busy weekend. As she cleaned up and organized the stock, she noticed a burning smell. Alarmed, she checked the oven and equipment, but everything seemed fine. Suddenly, she saw smoke coming from the back storage room. Rushing to investigate, Zara discovered that an electrical fault had started a small fire. Though it hadn't spread far, it had already damaged some of her equipment and a significant portion of her baking supplies. Zara quickly called the fire department, and they managed to stop the fire before it caused any more damage. As the firefighters left, Zara stood in the middle of her bakery, surrounded by the mess. The smell of smoke lingered in the air, and her heart sank. All her hard work seemed to be crumbling before her eyes. A moment of doubt. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She thought about the repairs, the lost supplies, and the possibility of closing the bakery temporarily. Her mind raced with questions. Why did this happen to me? How will I recover? For the first time in weeks, Zara struggled to find gratitude. The weight of her worries made it hard to focus on anything positive. She felt like she was back to square one, facing challenges she thought she had overcome. A friend's encouragement. The next morning, Sana came to visit Zara after hearing about the fire. She found Zara sitting in the bakery, looking defeated. "What happened is terrible, Zara," Sana said gently. "But you've faced bigger challenges before, and you've always found a way through." Zara sighed. "I don't know, Sana. This time it feels different. I worked so hard to build this bakery, and now it's all falling apart." Sana placed a comforting hand on Zara's shoulder. "Remember what you told me when I was going through a tough time? You said every problem comes with a hidden blessing. Maybe this is your chance to find a new blessing." Zara looked at her friend, tears brimming in her eyes. "You're right. I've been so focused on what I've lost that I forgot to look for what I still have. Finding gratitude in chaos." That evening, Zara took out her gratitude notebook. At first, it felt impossible to write anything positive, but she forced herself to try. Slowly, the words began to flow. 1. I'm grateful that the fire didn't hurt anyone. 2. I'm grateful for the firefighters who saved my bakery from complete destruction. 3. I'm grateful for friends like Sana who remind me of my strength. As Zara wrote, she felt a shift in her perspective. While the situation was far from ideal, she realized there were still reasons to be thankful. Gratitude didn't erase her problems, but it gave her the strength to face them with hope. The community rallies. Word of the fire spread throughout the neighborhood, and Zara's customers came together to help her. Some donated money to cover the repairs, while others offered to volunteer their time to clean and restore the bakery. One elderly customer, who had always admired Zara's positivity, brought her a bouquet of flowers and said, "You've brought so much light into our lives. Now it's our turn to help you." Zara was overwhelmed by the outpouring of support. She realized that the gratitude she had cultivated in her community was coming back to her in the form of kindness and generosity. A new beginning. Within a week, the bakery was repaired, and Zara was able to reopen. The gratitude board was still intact, and Zara added a new message to it. Sometimes, life gives us challenges to remind us of the blessings we often take for granted. What are you grateful for today? The customers continued to write their messages of gratitude, and Zara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The fire had been a setback, but it had also brought her closer to her community and reminded her of the power of gratitude. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that gratitude wasn't just for the good times, it was even more important during life's challenges. By focusing on what she still had, rather than what she had lost, Zara found the strength to rebuild and move forward. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that gratitude is not about ignoring life's difficulties. It's about finding the blessings hidden within them. Challenges may test us, but they also remind us of our resilience and the support we have around us." Chapter 15, The Unexpected Opportunity. As Zara settled back into her routine after the fire, she felt a renewed appreciation for her bakery, her customers, and the community that had rallied around her. Life was slowly returning to normal, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something new was on the horizon, a sense that her journey was about to take an unexpected turn. A special invitation. One morning, as Zara was preparing fresh pastries, she received an envelope in the mail. The handwriting on it was elegant and unfamiliar. She opened it carefully and read the letter inside. Dear Ms. Zara, we are pleased to invite you to speak at the annual Local Entrepreneurs Conference. Your story of resilience and community impact has inspired many, and we believe your journey can motivate others. The event will take place next month at the Grand Community Hall. Please confirm your participation. Warm regards. Event Coordinator. Zara was stunned. She had never thought of herself as a public speaker, let alone someone whose story could inspire others. Her first instinct was to decline the invitation, fearing she wouldn't know what to say. But then she remembered the lesson she had learned, to face challenges with courage and to embrace opportunities with gratitude. Maybe this was her chance to share what she had learned and help others find strength in their own struggles. Preparing for the speech. Over the next few weeks, Zara spent her evenings writing and practicing her speech. She wanted to tell her story honestly, highlighting not only her successes but also the hardships that had shaped her. One night, she sat with Sana, reading her draft aloud. What do you think? Zara asked nervously. Sana smiled. It's beautiful, Zara. Your story will touch so many hearts. Just speak from the heart, and you'll be amazing. Zara nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. She was stepping out of her comfort zone, but she knew this was an opportunity to grow and make a difference. The day of the conference. The day of the conference arrived, and Zara stood backstage, clutching her notes. The room was filled with local business owners, students, and community members. Zara took a deep breath and reminded herself of the gratitude she felt for this moment. When her name was called, she walked onto the stage, her heart pounding. She began to speak, her voice trembling at first but growing stronger as she found her rhythm. I never imagined I would be standing here today, sharing my story with all of you, Zara began. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that life's challenges often hold hidden opportunities. She spoke about losing her parents, starting the bakery, facing the fire, and the lessons of gratitude and resilience that had guided her through it all. The audience's response. As Zara finished her speech, the audience erupted into applause. Some people wiped away tears, while others nodded in agreement, clearly moved by her words. After the event, several attendees approached Zara to thank her. One woman said, "Your story reminded me that it's okay to struggle, as long as we keep moving forward. Thank you for inspiring me." A young man added, "I've been thinking about starting my own business, but I've been scared of failing. Your journey showed me that failure is just part of the process." Zara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Sharing her story had not only helped others but also reminded her of how far she had come. A new vision. The conference marked a turning point for Zara. She realized that her bakery was more than just a business, it was a platform for spreading positivity and hope. Inspired by the feedback from her speech, she decided to start hosting monthly community events at the bakery, where people could share their own stories, learn from each other, and find support. She called the initiative Moments of Gratitude. The first event was a small gathering, but it quickly grew as more people joined, eager to connect and be inspired. Zara's bakery became a beacon of hope, not just for delicious treats, but for meaningful connections. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that stepping out of her comfort zone could lead to unexpected opportunities and personal growth. By sharing her story, she discovered the power of vulnerability and the impact of inspiring others. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, "Today, I learned that our stories hold the power to heal and inspire, not just ourselves, but others too. I'm grateful for the chance to make a difference, one small moment at a time." Chapter 16, A Mentor's Wisdom. Zara's bakery had transformed into a hub of positivity and inspiration with her Moments of Gratitude events. People from all walks of life came to share their stories, find comfort, and learn from each other. Yet, Zara felt there was still much to learn herself. She often wondered how she could make an even greater impact. One day, an elderly gentleman named Mr. Hardy, a well-known motivational speaker, walked into her bakery. Zara recognized him immediately, having seen him at community events in the past. An unexpected visit. "Welcome to my bakery, Mr. Hardy." Zara greeted him warmly. "I've heard a lot about this place," he said with a kind smile. "The gratitude board, the community events, it's truly inspiring." Zara blushed. "Thank you. It's been a journey, but I still feel like there's so much more I could do." Mr. Hardy raised an eyebrow. "Why don't we sit down and talk about it? Sometimes, clarity comes when you share your thoughts." Zara quickly prepared 2 cups of tea and joined Mr. Hardy at a corner table. Sharing her vision. Zara explained her journey, from starting the bakery to rebuilding after the fire, and her desire to spread positivity. "I want to help people see the beauty in their lives, no matter what they're going through. But I feel like I'm not doing enough." Mr. Hardy listened attentively. When she finished, he said, "Zara, what you've done is remarkable. You've built something that touches people's hearts. But if you feel like there's more to do, perhaps it's time to think bigger." "Bigger?" Zara asked, intrigued. "Yes," he replied. "Your events are local, but your message is universal. Have you considered sharing your story and lessons with a wider audience?" Zara hesitated. "I've thought about it, but I'm not sure how to start." A lesson in purpose. Mr. Hardy leaned forward. "Let me tell you something I've learned in my years of speaking and teaching. When you have a purpose, it's like a flame. It starts small, but if you nurture it, it can grow into a fire that lights the way for others." He continued, "You already have that flame, Zara. Your gratitude board, your events, they're the sparks. But to truly ignite your purpose, you need to step out of your comfort zone and let your light shine on a larger stage." Zara listened intently, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. "How do I do that?" "Start small," he advised. "Write articles, record videos, or host online sessions. Share your story beyond the bakery. You'll be surprised how many people resonate with your message." Taking the first step. That evening, Zara couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Hardy's advice. She decided to start by writing an article about her journey and the lessons she had learned about gratitude and resilience. It took her several drafts and countless cups of tea, but she finally completed the article and submitted it to a local newspaper. A week later, the article was published. Titled "Finding Gratitude in Everyday Life," it quickly gained attention. Readers sent Zara messages of appreciation, sharing how her story had inspired them to reflect on their own lives. Encouraged by the response, Zara began recording short videos, sharing tips on how to practice gratitude and stay positive in challenging times. Her videos were simple and heartfelt, and they resonated with viewers who were looking for hope and encouragement. A growing impact. Zara's audience grew steadily. People from different cities, and even different countries, reached out to her, thanking her for her insights. Her bakery became not just a local treasure but the starting point of a global movement. One day, she received an email inviting her to participate in an international virtual conference on mental health and well-being. The organizers had come across her videos and believed her message could inspire their audience. Zara was nervous but remembered Mr. Hardy's words, "Let your light shine." She accepted the invitation and delivered a heartfelt talk about the power of gratitude in transforming lives. A visit from Mr. Hardy. Several months later, Mr. Hardy returned to the bakery. Zara greeted him with excitement, eager to share her progress. "I took your advice," she said. "I've been sharing my story online, and the response has been incredible. People are finding hope in places they never thought to look." Mr. Hardy smiled. "I knew you had it in you, Zara. You're not just running a bakery, you're building a legacy. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep learning, growing, and inspiring." The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned the importance of stepping beyond her comfort zone to share her message with a larger audience. She realized that her purpose was not just to bring positivity to her community but to inspire people everywhere. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her diary, Today, I learned that our purpose grows when we're willing to share it with others. I'm grateful for the courage to take the first step and for the people who believe in me. Chapter 17, The Gift of Gratitude. Months had passed since Zara expanded her reach through articles and videos. Her story had touched countless lives, and her bakery was thriving more than ever. Yet, Zara's journey was not just about external success, it was about internal growth. She realized that gratitude was not just something to practice during good times, but also in moments of difficulty and uncertainty. One evening, while closing the bakery, Zara received an unexpected visitor. A young woman named Aisha entered, carrying a small wrapped package. A special visitor. "Hello," Zara greeted her warmly. "How can I help you?" Aisha hesitated for a moment before speaking. "You don't know me, but I feel like I know you. Your videos and articles have helped me through the darkest time of my life." Zara was taken aback. "That means so much to me. Please, tell me more." Aisha sat down and shared her story. She had recently lost her job and was struggling to support her family. During her lowest moments, she stumbled across one of Zara's videos about finding small blessings even in hard times. "You said something that stuck with me," Aisha explained. "You said, even when it feels like everything is falling apart, there is always something to be thankful for. That simple idea gave me the strength to keep going. I started writing down one thing I was grateful for each day, and it changed my perspective." She handed Zara the package. "This is for you, a small token of my gratitude. A meaningful gift." Zara opened the package carefully. Inside was a beautifully crafted journal with the words "Gratitude changes everything" embossed on the cover. "This is perfect," Zara said, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you, Aisha. Your story means more to me than you know." They talked for a while longer, sharing experiences and insights. By the time Aisha left, Zara felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her journey was no longer just her own, it was intertwined with the lives of the people she had touched. Reflecting on gratitude. That night, Zara sat down with the journal Aisha had given her. She decided to start her own gratitude practice, writing down 3 things she was thankful for each day. Her first entry read: 1. The support of my community. 2. The courage to share my story. 3. The opportunity to meet people like Aisha who inspire me. As Zara wrote, she felt a deep sense of peace. She had learned that gratitude wasn't just about acknowledging the good, it was about finding light in the darkness and strength in the struggle. Expanding the practice. Inspired by Aisha's story, Zara decided to introduce a new activity at her bakery's Moments of Gratitude events. She called it the Gratitude Chain. Each attendee would write down one thing they were grateful for on a piece of paper. The papers were then linked together to form a chain, symbolizing the collective strength and positivity of the community. The first event with the Gratitude Chain was a huge success. People shared heartfelt moments, from small everyday joys to life-changing experiences. By the end of the evening, the chain stretched across the entire bakery, a powerful reminder of the blessings they shared. A ripple effect. The Gratitude Chain quickly became a tradition, inspiring similar activities in schools, workplaces, and other communities. Zara received messages from people around the world who had started their own chains, sharing photos and stories of how the practice had brought them closer to their loved ones. One letter stood out to Zara. It was from a teacher in a small village who had introduced the Gratitude Chain to her students. She wrote, "Dear Zara, thank you for your idea. My students come from difficult backgrounds, and many of them struggle to see the good in their lives. The Gratitude Chain has helped them focus on the positive and build a sense of hope. You've made a difference in ways you may never fully know." Zara was deeply moved. She realized that her message of gratitude had created a ripple effect, spreading far beyond what she had ever imagined. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that gratitude is not just a personal practice, but a gift that can inspire and uplift others. By creating opportunities for people to share their blessings, she discovered the power of community and the impact of small acts of kindness. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her journal. Today, I learned that gratitude is a gift that grows when it is shared. I'm grateful for the chance to be part of something bigger than myself. Taking time to reflect. Following her conversation with Mr. Hardy, Zara decided to take a step back and reflect. She spent a quiet weekend journaling, meditating, and reconnecting with her purpose. She revisited her diary entries from the past year, reading about the challenges she had overcome and the lessons she had learned. As she turned the pages, she realized how far she had come and how much she had grown. One particular entry stood out to her. Gratitude isn't about being perfect, it's about appreciating the journey, flaws and all. These words brought Zara a sense of clarity. She realized that her doubts were a natural part of growth, not a sign of failure. Facing her fears. Determined to move forward, Zara decided to face her fears head-on. She accepted an invitation to speak at a large conference about resilience and gratitude. The event was bigger than anything she had done before, and she was nervous, but she knew it was the right step. On the day of the conference, Zara stood backstage, her heart racing. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, reminding herself of why she was there. When she walked onto the stage, the audience erupted into applause. Zara began her talk by sharing her personal struggles with self-doubt, surprising many with her honesty. I want you to know, she said, that even someone who talks about gratitude and positivity struggles sometimes. But what keeps me going is the belief that every step forward, no matter how small, matters. Her vulnerability resonated with the audience. By the end of her talk, Zara received a standing ovation. A new perspective. After the conference, Zara received countless messages of appreciation from attendees. Many shared their own experiences with self-doubt and how her words had inspired them to keep moving forward. Zara felt a renewed sense of confidence. She realized that her imperfections made her relatable and that her journey, with all its ups and downs, was what truly connected her to others. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that self-doubt is a natural part of growth but doesn't have to hold her back. By facing her fears and staying true to her purpose, she discovered that vulnerability and authenticity were her greatest strengths. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her journal. Today, I learned that it's okay to feel unsure sometimes. What matters is not letting fear stop you from taking the next step. I'm grateful for the strength to keep going. Chapter 19: The Power of Forgiveness. Zara's newfound confidence was tested in a way she didn't expect. As her story and work reached more people, she started receiving criticism. Some questioned her authenticity, accusing her of using gratitude and positivity as mere tools for fame and financial gain. The sting of criticism. One particular article caught Zara's attention. It was written by a former classmate, Nida, who had never been fond of her. The article painted Zara as someone who had turned her struggles into a business gimmick. Zara was hurt. Why would someone write such a thing, she wondered. She felt angry and betrayed, especially because the accusations came from someone who had once known her personally. For days, Zara couldn't shake off the negative feelings. Every time she tried to focus on her work, the words from the article echoed in her mind. Seeking clarity. Zara turned to her journal, writing down her thoughts and feelings. I've always believed in spreading positivity and lifting others up, she wrote. Why is it so hard to let go of this hurt? She decided to share her feelings with her mentor, Mr. Hardy. After listening, he said, Zara, do you know what forgiveness truly means? It's about letting go of anger, isn't it? She replied. Yes, but it's also about freeing yourself, Mr. Hardy explained. When you hold on to anger or resentment, it only weighs you down. Forgiveness isn't about excusing the other person, it's about choosing peace over pain. The act of forgiveness. Inspired by their conversation, Zara decided to confront her feelings head-on. She reached out to Nida, asking if they could meet. When they met at a quiet cafe, Nida seemed surprised. I didn't think you'd want to see me after the article, she admitted. Zara took a deep breath. I won't lie, it hurt me. but I also want to understand why you felt the need to write it. Nida hesitated before speaking. I guess I was jealous. You've achieved so much, and I felt left behind. Writing that article was my way of dealing with my own insecurities, but it wasn't fair to you. Zara listened carefully, her anger softening. I appreciate your honesty, she said. I forgive you, but I also hope you'll find a way to channel your feelings into something positive. Nida looked relieved. Thank you, Zara. I'll try to do better. Letting go. After their meeting, Zara felt a sense of lightness she hadn't experienced in days. Forgiving Nida didn't erase the hurt, but it freed Zara from the burden of resentment. That evening, she shared her experience with her followers, emphasizing the importance of forgiveness in cultivating gratitude. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, she wrote. It means choosing to move forward without letting anger or pain define you. It's a gift you give yourself as much as others. A ripple effect. Zara's message resonated deeply with her audience. People began sharing their own stories of forgiveness and how it had transformed their lives. One story stood out. A man named Ahmed shared how he had held a grudge against his brother for years over a family dispute. After reading Zara's post, he decided to call his brother and reconcile. Ahmed wrote, "Your words gave me the courage to take the first step. For the first time in years, I feel at peace. Thank you for reminding me of the power of forgiveness." Zara was touched. She realized that forgiveness, like gratitude, had the power to heal and connect people in profound ways. The lesson of the day. In this chapter, Zara learned that forgiveness is not about condoning hurtful actions, but about choosing freedom over resentment. By forgiving Nida, she found peace within herself and inspired others to do the same. Before going to bed, Zara wrote in her journal, "Today, I learned that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. I'm grateful for the courage to let go and the strength to move forward." Chapter 20, The Ultimate Lesson. Zara's journey of gratitude and positivity had taken her through the highs and lows of life. From battling her self-doubt to learning the art of forgiveness, she had grown immensely. Now, it was time for her to reflect on the ultimate lesson life had taught her. A special event. One day, Zara received an invitation to a prestigious event, the Global Gratitude Summit. She was chosen as the keynote speaker to share her story and the impact of her gratitude chain initiative. As the day approached, Zara felt both excited and nervous. She wanted her speech to be more than just words, she wanted it to inspire true change. The night before the event, Zara sat down to prepare. She thought about everything she had learned over the years and the people who had been part of her journey. From her family to her mentor, Mr. Hardy, and even her critics, each person had played a role in shaping her path. The speech. On the day of the event, Zara stood in front of a large audience. She began her speech with a simple question. What does it mean to truly be happy? The room fell silent as Zara continued, "For years, I thought happiness was something I had to find or earn. But life taught me a different lesson: happiness is a choice. It's about finding joy in the smallest of moments, even when things aren't perfect." She shared her journey, from the struggles of her bakery's early days to the challenges of criticism and self-doubt. "But the most important lesson I've learned," she said, "is that gratitude is the key to happiness. It's not about ignoring life's difficulties, but about appreciating what we have, even in the midst of challenges. Gratitude transforms pain into strength and fear into courage." Zara concluded her speech by inviting the audience to take a moment of reflection. "Think about one thing you're grateful for right now," she said. "Hold on to that feeling and let it guide you forward. Gratitude is the light that leads us through the darkest times." The audience erupted into applause, and many were moved to tears. Zara's words had touched their hearts, reminding them of the power of gratitude in their own lives. A surprise visitor. After the event, Zara was approached by a familiar face, her childhood friend, Mariam. They hadn't seen each other in years, but Mariam had been following Zara's journey from afar. "Zara, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you," Mariam said, her eyes glistening with emotion. You've inspired so many people, including me. Zara hugged her friend tightly. Mariam, your encouragement all those years ago was the spark that started it all. Thank you for believing in me. Their reunion reminded Zara of how far she had come and how important it was to cherish the people who had been part of her story. The ultimate lesson. That night, Zara wrote her final journal entry for her gratitude journey. Today, I learned the ultimate lesson: happiness and gratitude are intertwined. Life will always have its challenges, but by choosing to focus on the good, we can find strength and joy in every situation. I'm grateful for this journey, for the lessons it has taught me, and for the people who have walked beside me. A legacy of gratitude. As Zara closed her journal, she felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. Her gratitude chain initiative continued to grow, touching lives around the world. Zara's story became a beacon of hope, reminding people that happiness isn't about perfection, it's about perspective. Her journey was a testament to the power of resilience, gratitude, and the courage to keep moving forward. The final words. Zara's story ends with a message for all. Try to be happy in every situation. Life isn't perfect, but it's beautiful when seen through the lens of gratitude. Embrace the journey, cherish the lessons, and never stop searching for the light.